Well, I just want to welcome everyone to Anger Management. I'm Sasha D. Robinson. Even though that this is sports, I love talking sports. Today we're going to do a very special one. We're going to rank Halloween, the movie Halloween, and I have Forrest of Southbound Tracks. How are you doing today, Forrest?
I'm good. How you doing? I was just hanging out, making a whole bunch of noise and trying to make it make sense, you know. But, yeah, just hanging out, doing the thing.
Doing anything. Well, I'll tell you like this. Yeah, as much as I may love sports, but I'll tell you right now, Forrest and I, we have a love of movies. We and I do look forward to talking to him about Halloween. It was funny because I did a post on Facebook, me and him was going back and forth like, Forrest, let's do it. I want to do a ranking, and I want you to do it with me. And he's like, cool. And then he sent me a text a couple of days ago. Look at my notes, and oh, trust me, I'm going to put that on there.
I have these files. Yes. Yeah, well, it's one of those like reporter notebooks. I ordered a few a while back, and I use them for everything. They're great,
Yeah, we're going to rank Halloween, the movie, the franchise Halloween with Michael Myers, one of the top billing horror movies of all time. We're going to rank that
Yes.
from worst to best.
A
And
lot.
hearing from Forrest and me and him talking, I think we're going to agree with some that are like horrible. And I don't know what his best top is, but I think I know what his number one is. And I think universally everyone knows what the top one is. But but we got 13 movies we're going to rank from top to best. So we're going to go ahead and start this right now. Forrest, go ahead, you go. What is your worst of all time?
Halloween Resurrection.
Wow,
Halloween Resurrection was the worst time I had at the movies watching a Halloween sequel ever. Not necessarily the worst time, but I was the most bored. I've never been more bored by a Halloween sequel than that one. I rank it um, as low as Texas Chainsaw 4. I don't like Texas Chainsaw 4 either because it bored me to tears when I saw it in the theater. Sometimes this has to do with how I saw the movies, by the way. Like
okay.
maybe I'm too much of a couch potato, and some of these movies I saw on streaming or DVD only, I enjoyed a bit more. I don't know, but man, I've got to hold on. Let me check the notes here. I saw it. I saw it in a theater.
Mm,
Probably opening week, likely. Um, there's a lot of bad acting in that movie. It's really wooden, and I mean, slasher movies tend to be like that anyway. But this one just the script is really pedestrian, and it's a bit too trendy for me. It's got this MTV what was that show that
but the
the
real
one
world,
the one where they went into like phony haunted houses and acted scared and shit.
Ghost,
MTV's
Ghost, Ghost Adventures or something like that, or
it was
Ghost Hunters or something like that.
it was MTV's Fear. I
Okay.
remember it because we're both from that generation of I remember when MTV played music videos. You know, we've heard it for fucking decades now. We sound like old dudes when we say it, but it is true. They were a bit better. They went reality TV shows, based.
Mm,
But I was a bit put off by that because I thought, okay, well they're doing a riff on like something I already kind of don't enjoy anyway. If like if I find something annoying in the culture, like reality television, which I always found, not for me. The performances in a slasher movie are not always going to be great, but yeah, combined with wooden writing, wooden acting combined with wooden writing, it just wasn't work. It just wasn't working for me. And of course, the Michael mask is kind of weird looking. I think it's got. I think they gave him some kind of thing with his eyebrows or something. So that's a couple of entertaining bits, and they both involve Busta. That's it. Busta's the only saving grace. Busta Rhymes is the only saving grace of Halloween Resurrection, I think. There's the scene where he and Michael are both in the masks, and it's played for laughs. That's pretty funny. And then the scene, if you get a chance, read A Decade Under the Influence, I think the book's called. It's Peter Biskind. He wrote Easy Riders, Raging Bulls about the 60s and 70s in Hollywood. A Decade Under the Influence is all about the 90s and indie film, including Miramax and Dimension. And one thing that kind of let me know that the Weinsteins, even then, before we knew everything, were kind of sketchy characters, was some of the stuff I read in that book about how they treated their actors and how they treated their filmmakers. Those guys like to take, a perfectly useful movie and recut it and recut it and recut it. They did that to Halloween 6. And it was always based on test screening. So, the one good thing that they did with the Halloween series, I thought, was ironically on the worst one, they, as far as their test audiences go, they actually listened to one particular test audience that liked Busta Rhymes' performance. And so I forget which actor it was, but I think there's the doorway, and the door bursts open, and it was originally shot, I believe, with the boyfriend coming in and saving the day or something like that.
Yeah, I saw the deleted scene. Yeah,
they replaced him with Busta, and Busta's got the best line in the movie, the trick or treat motherfucker. He's got the best fucking line in the movie.
Yeah,
but man, the rest of it, the rest of it, it's a rough sit. Like even now, Resurrection, like I don't know, it's been about a couple of decades now, but that movie's tough to sit through, man. Ooh,
yeah.
Dated too.
I'm agree with you on Resurrection because I went to go see that opening weekend also, and I had a date, and and at the time, I was just ignorant, like, oh, it's a pretty good movie. But then when you watch it through time, you look at it, it's like, oh my God. This, you look at stuff over and over, and you just watch it, and you're looking, and sometimes you watch some movies, and you time like, oh, I finally see this. The more and more I watch that movie, it's like, my God. But that's not my worst. That's not my worst though. My worst is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. The reason why I'm calling that was because this is the first Halloween movies I saw in the theater.
Oh man!
I went with a good friend of mine, still to this day, Michael Lopez. He went with this girl he was talking to, and a couple of other guys. My friend Donnie, another good friend of mine. We went to go watch it, and I'm watching the movie, and Michael was brutal in the movie. Don't get me wrong, Michael was brutal. Because you see the kills on there, you look at it like, damn. But the story is what. But when you look at the stories, you're like, it's like you can't get past all the killing because the story sucks. Yeah. And then hearing about, again, me and you, what we talked about, when the day of the internet, and the internet gets its hands on things and find out, oh, they're the producer's cut, and you hear about what really happened, and then you hear about what happened when Hollywood gets its hands on it, and they cut the movie up, and I feel like this producer's cut actually told a better story. The music was there, everything was better, but the movie just sucked. And then the theatrical part just sucked. Let me go ahead and explain it. I hated the ending. And I'm not going to say spoiler alert, because this movie is close to 30 years old. So if you would say I don't watch it, well, that's your fault. But
go ahead and spoil it, because I've forgotten both endings. I know one of them. I forgot. Oh wait, no, I remember now. Okay, yeah, they're both terrible. Yeah, both endings.
Because again, Michael's chasing them through an asylum. We're going to look at the theatrical version. Michael's chasing him through the asylum after butchering all these doctors. He goes to Michael, butchers everybody, all these doctors, and then he's chasing Tommy, the girl, I forgot what her name is, Kara, her son, and Michael's nephew's son. Oh yeah, Michael somehow it is implied that
Uh,
Michael impregnated his niece, and
yeah.
we have the son Stephen, which Paul Rudd, Tommy Doyle, he is Tommy Doyle from the original. He's chasing them through the asylum, and they're hiding. They're in this room, and Paul Rudd stabs, injects Michael with some goop. We don't know what it is, and then he starts beating him up with the pipe. And then after he beats him up with the pipe, it cuts to a courtyard, and Mike and Dr. Loomis is there. Mike Loomis, why don't you come with us? Oh, I have to finish up here. And then it cuts to Mike, and then after that, cuts to the to Michael's mask. Mask is off next to the syringes, and you're theatrical. The producer's cut. Paul Rudd has some rooms, and he places them around. Michael stops.
Oh man.
I mean, so I'm looking at this like, so you mean to tell me that the guy Michael Myers, the personification of evil, is stopped
Oh.
by Sam Rocks?
Oh yeah, that's right. He puts phones
Yeah,
down.
it's moving around. You know,
But
you can't do this to a guy who you put fear in everyone with that one, and like you have some rocks, and he stops, and then it explains when Michael Lee when they say, oh yeah, I have some stuff to finish up here, and then he comes back and finds out it's Dr. Wynn. Dr. Wynn, disguised himself with Michael, and Michael escapes, and then the sign of Thorn is on Dr. Loomis somehow, and now he's like, the ending. I just described the ending, and
yeah.
that is what really sucks, and that's what really drives me bananas. Michael is
Mm.
brutal in every way. This is the Michael Myers that we want to say. That's the only positive I'm going to give about it.
Yep.
Other than that, the story sucks. It makes no damn sense. Nothing about the movie makes sense. Like the part where they killed Jamie. When he
Yeah.
kills Jamie, we're gonna go with the
Uh,
theatrical version because when he
yeah.
kills Jamie, she's in a truck, long gone. She stops outside a bus station. How does Michael know she's at the bus station?
He just knows. It's a
He
movie
just
night.
knows. Okay, so then, Forrest, I'm gonna go with this. She escapes the bus station, gets in that truck, leaves. Michael walks. She's in this truck flooring it, and then all of a sudden, this van is right behind her. And I don't know what's faster, a van or a truck. I don't know because I have a sports car. But I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure if that truck, it's night. How did Michael know where she went?
Uh.
How does he know the direction she went?
Oh
And
man.
then we're not just what did he put GPS on the truck? I don't know. But this is 1995. And then runs her off the road. Then she goes walking around this pumpkin patch. Michael finds her, brutal kill. But I'm like, it's the movie just made it seem like there was way too much coincidences to get the ball rolling. I hated it. My anticipation of that movie, I expected it to be more, a good storytelling. I expected it to be very intense. I wanted to be scared half to death.
Yeah.
Instead, again, brutal kills, but the story was freaking horrible. And I'm sorry I was ranting about that movie,
No,
but
no, I felt the exact same way. Is my number 12 is Another Really Bad Time, except this wasn't at the movies. It was on VHS, and I rented it the same day as I rented the one before it. And I really liked the one before it. They came out back to back almost, which was a bad idea at the time. 1989, Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers is
not awful.
that's that's hard. That's a hard movie to sit through, man.
The mask
We
is
know
horrible.
we know why.
the mask is horrible.
Yeah, yeah. It's who's the babysitter character in that one, in the fifth
Uh,
one? She's dressed like Tiffany.
I'm trying to remember what her name is. Great Googly movie. It's going. Her name is going. Her name is going to sit there, and it's funny because I'm seeing her. I'm seeing Nellie Cornell. The actor's name is Nellie Cornell.
Ellie,
Um,
Ellie, Ellie Cornell played the older adopted sister, right? The
yeah,
blonde, but
yes.
the one with the black hair who kind of looks like Tiffany. And I got nothing against her.
We talking about what is it? What is her name? Oh my great bump da bump da bump da bump. Tina Williams.
Tina Williams. Okay, Tina
Tina
Williams.
Williams. Yeah.
Um, I haven't seen Tina Williams in anything else, but and here's my walk back. Okay, all right.
Mhm.
Um, the director, of course, is, bottom line, it's the director's job to direct actors and to make sure that actors do put in good performances, right? But
Mhm.
I don't know, something happened there, and they had her act a bit too perky, all that jumping around, bumping on stuff, uh, and we all liked Ellie Cornell, and they kill Ellie Cornell within what, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
That's such a drag, man. That's such a
Mhm.
drag. But yeah, Tina's performance is a bit jarring,
Mhm.
and though again the writing's not great, and even Donald Pleasance, who is good in well, mostly good in the next one, in Curse, except for the sound you made earlier, which sounds like me in college after a Budweiser binge. uh, he's really off kilter in Halloween 5 to the point where there's a couple of really uncomfortable scenes where he's shaking for Jamie Lloyd, not Jamie, Jamie Lloyd's the character, but
Yeah.
Daniel Harris. He's
Mhm.
shaking that girl. It's like, dude, relax. This is a bit much. And I get what they're doing. They're heightening the emotion, but you don't need Donald Pleasance to heighten his emotion because
Right.
he is always not always, but he does heightened emotion. Maybe he does anger and crazy guy maybe a bit too much sometimes.
Mhm.
Man, he's scarier than Michael in part 5, which maybe they were going for. But yeah, it just doesn't come together. What else do I have? I rented it the same day as its predecessor, and watched them back to back. I had not seen Halloween. I had not seen Halloween 4 yet. And so I watched them, and Halloween 5 had just come out. So I watched them back to back, and I just went, man, Halloween 4 is so good. I can't wait to see what happens next. And then it's just this confusing mess, and ends with it ends with the Man in Black character,
Yeah.
or there's that weird Man in Black character who they explain in the next one, which
Mhm.
kind of a doofy plot for the next one, but yeah, it just doesn't hang. It doesn't come together. And yeah, man, part 5 just is really, it it feels like a straight to video movie almost.
Yeah.
It
It did, didn't
like
it?
a VHS movie, and I don't know, I not my thing at all. I have the soundtrack. I have the soundtrack to 4 and 5 on vinyl. They're really good, but definitely not my favorite. And although I was more disappointed with others, with Resurrection, Halloween 5 was the first one that I saw that I was really thinking, man, this series went downhill. Something happened, and what happened was they made the 5th one too fast.
Where with Halloween 5, because this one is later. It's on my list. It's down on the list, and I agree because I didn't see that movie. I remember a good. I watched the movie. Good. My brother, the diehard Michael Myers fan, but the time I
Yes,
really paid attention to it, I had our mutual friend Jabri Jones, rest in peace.
yes, yes.
he rented the movie for me at Blockbuster, and because he had just came home from college, and he got it for me. So we sat on my couch, we watched the movie, and I'm sitting here watching the movie, and I'm like, this just what is, and I'm trying to understand, comprehend what's going on. And I remember but I'm gonna go back to when I was a kid, and I'm remembering the Man in Black, and you
Yes.
know, breaking Michael Myers out of jail. And I'm just thinking, now that I watch it now, me and my wife, we had this conversation. I'm just thinking, I want you to tell me, the Haddonfield Police has got to be the sorriest police force of all time. This man walks into their station. Let me go back real quick because I'm trying not to go there. Part four: Michael Myers goes into the police station, kills all those deputies, leaving just
Yeah.
two cops alive because they weren't there. So we're going to go into five. Now the Man in Black just walks up in there, blasts everybody, and
Mm.
I mean you see cop the bodies of cops all over there, and I'm just thinking, this he's not the Terminator. This isn't a T-800. How is he just walking in there and just blast everyone? You see that video? He has a submachine gun. Somebody, you mean to tell me that he takes one person out? You trained cops, you bunch of rednecks in the middle of nowhere, Illinois, can't take him out, and breaks Michael Myers out, and then Daniel Harris, as Jamie Lloyd,
Yeah.
she walks in there and she hears all that. And I'm thinking, why would you go in there? Why would you go back in there? You hear the danger, run away. And
Yeah.
it's really convoluted. And trust me, I have a lot more to say when I get to the movie.
Normally I'm willing to let, and I am. I'm actually really easy on stuff like that in movies, like even the occasional continuity error or something like that. I'm usually willing to kind of go, okay, it's movie magic, and that's why it happened, and okay, whatever. But I also have ADHD, and it's hard for me to concentrate on movies too. So I miss stuff, and don't even really pay it any mind. Is there anything that I can say that's pretty good about it? It it's kind of a it's almost like a mid-tier Halloween movie, except it's got a couple of things about it that just drive it down as the movie goes. It's boring, like I thought Resurrection was boring. It's not. It's yeah, kind of. Oh, the cops with the wacky music, boing boing doopy doo, that kind of stuff. What?
All clear. I was in shake.
Like literal. It's like duck calls and zingers. It sounds like Spike Jones music.
Yeah.
It's why is that? Why are there wacky cops? And I guess it's to establish that they're not good at the job later on. But that was I
Yeah.
had to find the VHS when I saw it. I went, wait a minute, what? Just to listen to the musical. I think, and I think that was Alan Howarth. I think Alan Howarth scores to the first three with Carpenter, and
Mhm.
then did 4, 5, and 6 on his own. And 6 has a good score. 6 has that industrial metal version of the Halloween theme. Like 6 has a pretty good score.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, as far as Halloween 5, I guess I could say it's a pretty terrible movie, but I don't know. I could put it on, but it's background noise at this point because I've seen it so many times.
No, you're better than me because I'll put it on, but I mean, I don't think I'll watch it.
Nah,
Yeah, it's I'm at the bottom.
let's go.
Halloween ends. I
Okay.
I could not stand that movie. Me and my wife watched it. Peacock when it was on streaming. The moment it hit midnight, we watched it. And I'm
Hmm.
sitting here watching the movie, and I'm sitting here trying to watch it, trying to open mind. I'm trying to have an open mind on it,
Yeah.
and because we were said we're gonna watch it on Peacock, and then we're gonna go to the drive-in and we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it Friday. We had
Nice.
every intention. We planned this out what we're gonna do,
Yeah.
and so we're sitting there watching, and we're watching this movie, and I'm sitting here looking at this like this is the most stupidest movie I've ever seen. And this is the reason why I say this. I understand that you want to try to do something different. You don't want to do cut and dry, cut and paste, same thing. You want to try something different. So I will go with the Corey Cunningham what you're trying to do, but the way how they went about it really went over my head, and I'm sorry I don't want to jump to try to catch it. Um, I didn't like Michael and Corey tag teaming. I am
Yeah.
sorry. Michael is not a tag teamer. He's not trying to groom a successor. They're not going to go out together trying to learn how to kill together. I don't see Michael Myers how you built Michael up as this one man wrecking crew, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden he takes on a protege. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I didn't like that. And then I didn't like this part where how Corey punked Michael to get his mask, and then Corey goes on a spree to get revenge on his bullies.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I didn't like that. I thought it was just, I'm just thinking that okay, that's just you want me to cheer Corey while he killing people for who's doing them wrong. I don't want to cheer for you because you get revenge on your bullies.
No.
And then to me, I didn't like that.
They,
Um,
they go with that old school crime doesn't pay ending, right? You
right.
just like the old like the original Scar and the remake
I
of
was not a fan of that. And another thing is this. We're gonna go back to something, and I'm gonna reference Jabri Omari Jones a couple of times through this
Please
he's
do.
because he's the reason why I got into Halloween.
Yeah.
So Jabri, I remember one time he was watching when we were talking about Star Trek Nemesis,
Oh
and
yeah.
and he told me, and I was like, I kind of like Nemesis. He said I wasn't a fan of the ending. I'm like, really? Why not? He said when this is supposed to be the final movie of the next generation. Uh,
Yeah.
if you're going to do something like that and you make the scimitar out to be this big threat, I want it to be, you put your balls on the line. I wish the battle would have went over Earth, and you see how deadly that weapon is, and let them drop it in Earth, killing half the population, and you see how much it is. About how big of a threat it is, and so the Enterprise and Starfleet see how desperate it is. They did that in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
and he wasn't a big. And he said when he said that, I started thinking, you're absolutely right. The moment he told me that, it clicks in my head. When you do a movie, you want to really try to put everything on the line, especially when it's the final one.
Raise the
Uh,
stakes.
Yes, that's it. Halloween Kills. It feels like it didn't raise the stakes when you do something and they put this as the final battle between between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers.
Yeah.
How come we have Laurie win? I would have had Laurie die. I would have had Michael win. I would have had Halloween ends, and with him somehow, some way, his essence or something really infected the town of Haddonfield to the point that no matter what, he won.
I think that the only reason they didn't do it that way is because they'd already killed her once in Resurrection
Resurrection.
in just the dumbest way. But I think that's probably why. You know what? That may have been a contract thing. She may
Yeah.
have said, look, I'll come back, but you're not killing my character. They may have done. It may have been. I don't know. I'm speculating.
Hmm.
And she did it that way. I don't blame her. She's a big star, man.
Yeah.
It's like in wrestling, protect the business.
Well, okay, but yeah, so my thing is there are certain things about the movie that I like, but I guess the reason why this movie is so low is because my expectations in the movie.
Yeah.
I expected it to be, if you're really saying this is Halloween Ends, I
Mm.
expected you to really do something to let it be known. This is it. This is how this is really we're going balls out.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it's so low. If I could look at other people, because again, a lot of other people say, well, if you look at it, they did something different with it, and they did that. Yeah, I can see that way. But my thing is the reason why it's so low is because I expected it to be more, like we said, you're putting it all on the line,
Right.
and it didn't feel like that was all on the line. It just felt like we're just trying something, and I hope that it sticks. I'm sorry, to me, it didn't stick.
You're,
So
you're
so.
gonna hate me when we get to this movie later because
Mhm.
I have no defense. I have no defense. I just kind of liked it, but I have no defense. Like I can't point to this. Oh no, this part's great, and you're missing this, and this is what you don't understand about it. No, I have none of that. Actually, I have none of that.
Yeah,
I kind of liked it. That's all I got.
all right. Well, what is your next one?
What number are we on?
We
Let's
are on 11.
number 11. Oh God, we're still talking about Curse of Michael Myers. Oh my God. Let's see here. I was at for this Halloween 666 that's got a completely different title. What were they going to call it?
Yeah,
Origin of Myers,
Michael Myers.
which also makes no sense. So because that's not even in the movie, right?
Right.
Um, yeah, I was really hyped. I think you and I have a similar story about Curse. I was really hyped to see that movie because the trailer's good, well put together, well written, right? And I figured, well, if this is the same studio, oh man, this movie's gonna be great. I can't. Man, this series is back because I'm also coming from having seen Halloween 5 a couple of years before on VHS and not liking it. And Paul Rudd is a good actor, but he is not good in that movie. He is, and again, that's another one of those things where I don't want to blame the actor too much. A lot of the time, it's the director um, giving not so great direction, and a lot of the time, it's just the editor picks some bad takes. But he's he does okay until that scene where he's trying to get away from Michael Myers in the hallway, and he's trying to get through a door, and he can't open the door. It's like the keys, the keys. It's like that.
Yeah.
And he looks back. He keeps looking back at Mike, and he makes this. this he looks like Stallone crying. It's like, what the hell is he doing? What kind of acting style is that, man? What are you doing? Take it a bit more seriously than that. It looked like a comedy, which is great because he's a good comedic actor. But I think he was doing some comedic acting in Halloween 6. Didn't like the editing. We were talking about that. I really liked the score. We talked about that. But producer's cuts, right? So
Yeah.
saw the theatrical version. Really didn't like it, but I felt like there was a good movie there that just didn't coalesce, right?
Yeah. Right.
And then I was reading. I was a monthly subscriber to Fangoria, so man, that Curse of Michael Myers cover is just a thing of beauty, and that's around the time like Fangoria was putting out and they still do. They're putting out magazines with great covers, and like they had that For Dusk Till Dawn cover back then. And, so I was super hyped, and then you come to find out as you're reading, as you're becoming a bit more of a part of a fandom online. This is before it's old man talk, but this is before social networks. So everything was kind of weird little websites, GeoCities websites, and stuff like that.
GeoCity, he would excite.
I had an Angel Fire site complete with all the stupid pop-ups that you couldn't, that you couldn't seem to get around.
Yeah.
And that's when I first read about the notion that there was a producer's cut of Halloween 6. So I wanted it to be good also, but it just didn't. Again, that producer's cut didn't work for me. And one of the things that's really goofy about it is when Dr. Wynn makes that big speech at the end, and in that version he's wearing that big Dracula collar. I can't take that seriously, man. What the hell is that? And now we have to not only do we, because we have two separate lists, not only do we have to talk about this god awful movie twice, there's two different cuts, so we have to talk about it 4 times. But we don't. We can compress them. Yeah. So, what else do I have? Let's see. Bootleg, El Paso, producer's cut. I have a note that says I like it more now, and I kind of do. I guess because it brings back some memories. I guess because it's different in that 90s way, that mid-90s irritating way that movies don't really do anymore. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I don't want everything to be an A24 movie. I don't want everything to be like an 80s grindhouse or 70s grindhouse thing either. But there's, as much as I hated movies in the 90s for that fast cut style and for that more commercial, I call it like a dumbass style. Hey, look at this. It's an advertising thing, a music video thing. It's not so much a storytelling thing.
Yeah.
I still kind of, sometimes I miss it. Sometimes I miss it. Most of the time I don't. But
Right.
yeah, Halloween 6. I'll watch it again in like 10 years, man.
Well, you're better than me because I don't think I can watch it. But with my next one, I can't believe now I'm going to talk about your worst Halloween Resurrection. Now again, this is another disappointing one because again, saying mine is going to be Halloween Resurrection. Like I said, if you notice my top 3, I mean my bottom 3, I'm gonna say my bottom 3 are all movies that I saw in the theater and they were disappointing because I expected, I had high expectations. This is coming off of H2O. Of course, everybody was wondering how did Michael survive? How did he survive? And then when you hear the story, the reason how he survived, you're just sitting here wondering, like, I'm sitting here wondering, like, I again, this is my 22, 23-year-old mind working.
Yeah.
He crushed the paramedics, Lernick. He put his mask on him, changed, they had him change clothes and walked out. And then let's go ahead and go with the other with the guy who who Lernick he crushed. How come he didn't take the mask off? How come he didn't do that?
And it cheapens the ending of the last one.
Yeah.
Where we think they're having this great moment between brother and sister. It turns out that it was retconned. Yeah. I hate it.
Yeah, you know about that, and to me, it's just like, okay, let me go ahead and say I'm gonna buy that. Let's just say I'm gonna buy that. The way how you kill off Jamie, the way how you killed off Laurie Strode was really, like you said, it was piss poor to me. It's like we're looking for a way. Think about it. Another YouTuber that I watch all the time, the Cinema Snob. The best. I mean, I don't know if you kind of look at it, you two look alike. But he said,
yeah, he's great. I love Brad Jones. He's great, man. Yeah. I love that guy.
I like him too. And if he said this best when Michael was doing all this, and they said, I need to make sure. And I'm just thinking about this, and I thought the same thing. But again, my 23-year-old mind wasn't comprehending a lot of things like I do now. So you mean to tell me this man barges into your room, follows you upstairs, and he's chasing after you, and then you get him in a trap, and then all of a sudden you're like, I need to make sure it's you. Yeah, it is him. I mean, you know what I would have done? You know what I wouldn't have done? I would have left him up there. You know why? Because of blood rushing to his head, he could have probably died. I would have just sat there.
Let him hang.
Yeah,
hang out.
Yeah. That's what I would have done. But instead, you had to, you had to have her have some PTSD moment. I have to make sure it's you. But you knew
Yep.
he was coming for you. So then you finally get him, and then you're like, I have to make sure. Okay. Then let's go ahead and go into the haunted house, Michael Myers haunted house. Good.
Right.
I'll probably give it that little concept, a good idea. It's a pretty good idea. It's a different area and everything like that. But I want you to think of one thing. Remember when Bud, the kid who kept the little kid who was the kid that was killed, when Michael barged through the bust through the window through the mirror and was grabbing him and he's yelling, ah, ah, ah.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. Is that
He
is,
is
is that him and his girl? Like he's in a scene with his girlfriend?
no,
Was that okay?
he was flirting with the blonde.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, he's been flirting with the blonde. And but this is what gets me. Think about this. The Myers house is not a big house,
Yeah.
right or wrong.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
a big house. He says, "I'm gonna get you," and then Michael busts through the mirror, and then he's screaming, and he's screaming left, ah, 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 and Michael stabbed him in the head. How come you can hear Jennifer screaming, but you don't hear him. You don't hear him screaming and left to right. You don't hear somebody barging through some mirror, stabbing him and then stabbing him in the head. I know you're not going to hear the stabbing in the head, but you don't hear that. Again, and then let's go ahead and go with the way how Michael took out the two guys because they're trying to save the final girl.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Um, One, I get the biker guy because he thinks he's a tough guy,
Yeah.
and I understand that. But then when you have, I forgot Sean Thomas's character, the way how he like tried to go after Michael just to protect his friend. I'm sorry, Forrest, me and you, we're cool. I like you to death, love you a lot. But if Michael Myers is coming after me or you, and you fall down, I'm not sacrificing myself to save you. I'm trying to get the fuck away. And, he sat there and sacrificed himself just so she can get away. And I mean, it's like it's just a nitpick.
I
Um, it's
I can
huh?
I can rest assured knowing that as I'm being stabbed by Mike and you're running up, that as you're running up, you will at least be saying, "Hurry up! Let's go, man! With you, go, man! Come on!"
I would probably, because I'm just thinking this. Michael's coming after. It's not, and there's certain again. And if I was this one, and I'm nitpicking on certain scenes, but
Sure.
so if I want to take it away, if I want to take away everything like this, there is one thing about it. It just didn't feel like Michael Myers was really like. Think about the original. The
Yeah.
original one had atmosphere, music, and it scared you half to death.
Yes.
See, because it wasn't about the kills, it was about everything else. Everything else set the tone of that movie. The kills were not that brutal. They were not all that. There's one of the greatest kills of all time, horror
It was
movie kills of all time.
the
But
through the door.
through the door, yes, that
Uh,
was probably one of the best. But you take that away, all the kills were just like whatever.
right.
But when you look at everything else, the tension, the atmosphere, the music, everything about that movie made Michael Myers better. You could see, like, when you watch certain parts of the movie, you would see Michael somewhere in the, like, he's not the focal point. Like, I'm looking at you on camera, and you could probably see Michael through your like your the back of your window.
Yeah.
Is what made it creepy to me. Now it was just like he's just there, and it didn't feel like it was a real Halloween movie. It was just felt like it was just a movie, and we put Michael Myers' name on there.
And he gets smacked in the head. Doesn't he get smacked in the head?
He gets smacked in the head. Busta Rhymes does a jump kick. You know, Like,
Yeah.
I told you, you're going there with Nora into the garage. I'm like, and I know, like you said, it's paid for, it's for laughs. It's for laughs.
They should have just gone full comedy. Just
Hmm.
made an Costello movie out of it or something, man. Just
Yeah,
they just gone full comedy, man. Just do it.
yeah.
You know, take the jump. That late in a series, why not?
I
Yeah.
mean, you might as well. Yeah. And guess what happens when Michael Myers comes home? Come on.
Yeah.
Next one.
Number 10. Number 10. This is we're making an epic here. We're gonna be like we're gonna have like our 7 different Lord of the Rings endings by the end of this. But my number 10, and the only reason it is this low is because I watched it or tried to watch it the other night.
Hmm.
Rob Zombie's Halloween 1.
Oh wow.
1. Not
Hmm.
apparently we didn't know this for in 1978, but well, I guess we knew it. I guess we knew it with some of the characters in Part 4, but Haddonfield's full of rednecks apparently because they don't stop screaming at each other. That's like that's just like it's all they do, and these families in Haddonfield is just scream at each other and insult each other. Like I thought I was online or something when
Right.
I was listening to some of the dialogue. But again, I watched it again the other night and I couldn't finish it. Um, all the angry stuff at the table, where the stepfather's making fun of Michael and yelling at the mom, yelling at Sherry Moon Zombie. They're screaming back and forth at each other, and the baby screaming. And I think they end hard, deal with it, right? It's like a Sam Kinison routine as a movie, right? But
Right.
it has some good moments, but not enough of them. And then just kind of doing the same plot for the second half of the movie as the
Right.
movie, that was a bit jarring. That was a bit off for me. But when I saw it at the time, maybe it's because I was just kind of in a different place. I laughed my ass off and really had a good time in that movie. Even in the most really aggressive and ugly parts, when Michael Myers drags Dee Wallace Stone across the floor,
Yeah.
I see that and I go, oh God, that is gross, right? Back then, and I guess because I was a bit younger and a bit edgier, right? But back then I saw that part in the theater, I laughed my ass off. And I think it's because it's so ridiculous. It's got this really loud boom, and
Hmm.
it's really quiet. There's nothing going on in the shot, and then suddenly, boom, here comes Mike with Dee Wallace Stone, and that just slayed me. It was so silly. But I don't want a Halloween movie to be that silly. I don't really want a Halloween movie to be like a chainsaw movie, or to be
No.
like, or to have like kind of a Last House on the Left feel or something like that.
Hmm.
I don't really want that. But again, when you're that late in a series, what else are you gonna do except uh, the director equivalent of stunt casting? I was like, hey, let's get Rob Zombie. He makes movies, okay? Well, he already made a couple movies anyway, so that's unfair. It's not stunt casting. It's not stunt casting for the director's chair or anything like that. But I don't know. I used to like it more. I like Halloween 6 more than I did. I like Halloween Rob Zombie's first one less. But I always liked his second one more.
Hmm.
The second one. What's your number?
Okay. Well, mine is actually your second least one. Halloween 5: Revenge of Michael Myers. The reason why I'm not a fan of that movie, I mean, the reason why it's just, again, because the expectation to me, because it wasn't there. My bottom three were the expectations, and saw them in the theater, and the expectation sucks. I expected more from a Halloween movie. With this one, I remember came on video, brother. Well, we got it. Watched the movie when I was a kid. I watched the movie. I'm thinking, okay, yeah. But then when you watch it more and more, and you watch it and you just look at it, one thing I can't stand is that god awful mask. Now, again, that's not the reason why it's low. I'm just gonna say, hate the movie. I mean, I can't. But the mask is one of those things. When I looked at that mask, it's like one of those like like how he went from the clown looking mask on part four to the alien looking mask on five. Um, okay? So let's go ahead and go with that. Again, you've already talked about the way how they killed off Rachel. Within 15 minutes, everybody loved Rachel in part four.
Yep.
I on the other hand, I wasn't a big fan of her because I've sat there and I watched the movie a couple of times. And I watched the first part. And I'm like, God, she really was a dick to Jamie.
She's
You
terrible.
know, but then let's go ahead. And then she gets mad. But then she tells Brady at the last minute, "Oh yeah, I got to babysit. I got babysit." But then I gotta say, I don't know if Brady and her were in a committed relationship in part four, but then she sees Brady with the other girl, and she's like, "I thought you weren't like other guys."
Mm.
I'm thinking, but you kind of like in a way, you probably saw Brady at school, didn't say anything till you saw him at the drugstore. And then I want to also just kind of realize a couple of things. That drugstore that they were at, I don't know if because you're a movie buff.
In the fourth one?
Yeah, the fourth one. And
Okay.
and I'm going to go there. I don't know if you realize, but that drugstore, the same drugstore from Pee Wee's Big Adventure and
What?
the Sandlot.
And what else? Sandlot?
The Sandlot.
Whoa! I didn't know that. That's
I
cool.
didn't know that either until somebody pointed it out. They said that's the same. That was the same one. So I'm like, so that's the same. So the Haddonfield. What's that? I thought. So yeah, look. Go
Ah,
ahead.
I wonder if that was like on the Warner. I wonder if that was on the Warner Brothers lot, or if that was
Probably.
a location that they like to use. That's pretty cool, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
That's
found that out. I found that out, and I was like, wow. That when you see stuff, like wow, eye opening.
yeah. That's
But
cool. That's awesome. Now I want to watch Halloween 4 again. I watched it about a week ago actually. It's still good.
yeah,
Five, yeah, five is bad. Michael rolls a tear.
yeah,
What?
I mean, come on, come on. Let's think about now. You said that there was nothing really good in part. Well, actually, I said there's nothing good in five. I just thought about one thing. Actually, there was one tension-filled scene that I
Yeah.
could probably say, like, okay, yeah, and that was that part in the laundry chute where Michael was stabbing through and trying to get to Jamie. I can actually say because I remember watching that. And I'm like, oh my god, he
Yeah.
looks like he's really about to get her, I'm looking at that. But other than that, didn't everything about the movie from your friend Tina uh, to to her boyfriend. Um, her boyfriend was a
that,
dickhead.
that, that Eddie and the Cruisers reject that she's hanging.
Yeah, and then the two blondes.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and and the movie just did. There was really no, outside of the laundry chute, there was no tension filled where you're just like this, where you're really scared. Like when they killed the Eddie and the Crew the reject. Did
Uh,
he just came out of nowhere, just it just drew him out and just stabbed him. There was nothing to be like,
I
nothing to
think
scare.
is that the scene where Michael's wearing a clown mask?
No,
Or,
that was actually his mask that he took from him. But they're like sitting behind like the old boys parked behind the corner store trying to get some beer for the
yeah.
party.
Okay.
Michael comes behind him. He has like I guess one of those, I guess like one of those rakes, and he puts the rake on the guy's car and goes and just brushing it up against there, and then
This is
he,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
and then and Michael like puts that thing in his head.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no tension. It's like, okay, you see Michael in the background, walk up there, do this, and then oh boy gets up. Oh, I know you didn't just do that. I mean,
It's another one of those. It's another one of those instances of they like in Resurrection where the script writers decide they're gonna clown Michael for a minute, and of course everybody in the audience knows. Oh, watch out! He's got this guy. Oh boy, this guy's gonna get it. And it's sometimes that works, but most of the time it doesn't. It makes your killer less scary. It makes your villain less scary to do that. Nope.
well, my honeymoon, we were supposed to go to we were supposed to go to Los Angeles,
Oh wow.
and we were going, and and I told her I wanted to go to the Myers house because it's in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And that house is actually now, I want to say it's a dental's office.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is, what a lot of people, I know, I believe, I could be wrong. It's some type of office, but they hate it. Yeah, but they hate it because a lot of people come to their office just to take pictures and try to tour it.
People will not like me for this. The people are going to be like this fucking guy. Um, my number 9 is H2O.
Wow. Now I can see why people are going to be like this fucking guy. Uh,
Right? It's all right, but and it's better than the one previous, and it's better than the one after. And lately, I've seen it and have enjoyed it.
mhm.
It's got some good performances. Jamie Lee Curtis is spot on. In fact, Jamie Lee Curtis. Some folks say some folks like her more in H2O than they like her in the newer ones, which is fair. I love her in the newer ones, but I get why. I understand. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I enjoyed other ones better. I think that's all that really is. Saw it in a theater. Saw it at River Center Mall. I used to go to the movies at River Center in San Antonio. That was my movie theater because you get a trip to the mall with it too, right? And
Right.
there was a fight in the movie theater while the movie was on. Yeah, that's like I'm sitting up front. It's me, my date's there. Everybody's packed in. It's a really hot crowd. They are digging this movie. They're glad to get a better Halloween movie, right, than the last one probably. And
Mhm.
and I'm sitting in the front row, which means I'm like this, I'm having to do that and killing my neck. And I sit in the back now, or I try to anyway, just so I can view it dead on. But
Mhm.
there's a lady sitting. There's a woman sitting maybe 4 or 5 seats down from me, and this other woman passes her, and they're probably late teens, early 20s, and one of them looks at the other, and they just decided they didn't like each other. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? That kind of thing. Well, come on, bitch. Well, come on, bitch. And these two girls get up and they start fucking swinging like I was back at like I was back in high school watching a lunchroom fight, going and they were beating the shit out of each other, and the crowd's like it was like a Jerry Springer crowd. They they were cheering these two girls on as they
Mhm.
were beating the crap out of each other. But uh, that was actually I actually had I used to say that was more entertaining than the movie, but H2O's not bad. I think I just don't like Dimension Films. I think that's what it is. I've got
I think that's what it is, man.
Dimension Films, but um, decent script. Okay, here we go. Performances, and I think that outside of Jamie Lee Curtis, who is really good, Josh Hartnett, who's pretty good, LL Cool J, who's a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to listen to, and his new album is fucking great, and it is fucking great. All right, I'm glad to have LL fucking put an album out again. It's been way too long, dude. But who plays Jamie Lee Curtis's fella, her boyfriend? Is it
Adam Arkin. I want to say it's Adam Arkin.
Okay, he's good. He's good. Yeah, I like him. It's that same story with every slasher movie where you've got the perky guy and you've got you get the perky girl and you've got the serious guy and you've got it's that kind of stock casting thing. But it's I don't know. I think my thing is that I just enjoyed. I'm basing this on how I felt at the time and how I felt since then. I've watched H2O in recent years and it holds up, but it does feel dated. It does feel like a dated movie. But however, they also carry over that lighting from the original Halloween in some parts. They also do carry over some of the feel of John Carpenter's film. I love that Janet Leigh's in it. I love that Janet Leigh and Jamie Lee Curtis get to share a scene together as mother and daughter.
Yeah.
I love because they were in The Fog together, I believe. But so I love that. And my favorite, you know me, I'm a movie score guy. I'm a movie soundtrack lunatic, right? I love movies. I might love movie soundtracks more than I love like rock or rap or electronic or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And John Ottman does the score. John Ottman did the score to The Usual Suspects. So I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that one in a while because I don't want Bryan Singer to accidentally profit from my watching one of his movies ever again because of a couple of stories, right? Frankly, guy. But maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But I'm not. Nah, we ain't having that. But John Ottman does a really good job with that score. And my favorite part of that movie is when Janet Leigh exits the scene and he throws in that was very sweet and very and that's lovely to hear.
Yeah.
Anything else about H2O? I think it's a good movie, but I think it's also at the same time kind of what the kids call mid, and maybe I'm giving it a harder time than I should. I'm on my list though. I do have reasons. Anyway, that's my number 9 is H2O. What do you have?
Mine is actually the 2007 Halloween.
That's the Rob Zombie one?
The Rob Zombie one.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna tell you something. Another thing, we're going to reference good old Jabri Jones.
Yeah.
When the movie first came out, I don't know. I'm trying to remember the name of this website, but this website came out, and sometimes you were able to watch movies before they're released. I'm trying to remember what it was, but a lot of movies that came out, and we were able to watch them before it was released. Me and a friend of mine, his name is Mark. We would watch the movie. We watched Halloween before it came out.
I used to all that stuff.
Now this is 2007, so we watched the movie, and the thing what got me, the little thing about this scene was when we were watching the movie, we were it was more I guess it was like a director's cut. It wasn't the theatrical release. So there was that one scene where Michael kills her parents, kills the Strodes, and he's sitting outside, the father sitting outside, and Michael, you see Michael, he's across the street, and then he's just sitting outside, he's smoking a cigarette, and Michael just walk up there, and you see him walking up, and he's like, and Michael's walking up, he's like, oh man, Happy Halloween. You want some candy? Then Michael sits there and slits his throat. me and Mark, we died laughing at that scene because we thought it was funny the way how it happened, because it was, damn it, I can't believe that. And then he slit his throat, and then he dragged him in the house, and then the vicious kill, how he killed Dee Wallace. There's also another scene, but there was the way how the movie ended, which a lot of people, I don't know. I've been trying to find it, but it didn't end with the way how her shooting him in the head.
Right.
It ended with him being gunned down by a whole bunch of cops,
Yep.
by a bunch of cops. But we told Jabri about the movie. We were telling him about it. We are like, yeah, it actually looks like it's a pretty good movie. And we were sitting here talking about one thing, man. I really like the way how they did a backstory on him and the way how it was. And Jabri said it best. I don't like knowing the backstory of Michael Myers. I just like knowing that he's evil personified. A
Yes.
backstory basically makes him human.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good movie, but I prefer it to be no backstory, no wondering what's going on, why does he kill, who cares about the psychology.
Right.
Now, I'm trying to tell my wife about this because she was watching Terrifier 2. and And she's over here wondering, like, why is he doing this? The movie would be a lot better if we knew exactly why he was killing people. I told her it's probably just better that you don't want to know. Just know that he's an evil motherfucker that goes around killing people. Because when you find out something that humanizes people,
Right.
this is just a bad person. He's just going around killing people. So when Jabri told me that, that's when my high hopes on that movie started going down, and it started creeping down more. And then when you watch it more, like what you're saying about the rednecks and how they're just like, I can't work, bitch, and he's just sitting there throwing money. I'll go there and I will skull fuck you. And then
Yeah.
look, and then she's sitting there in her robe, and I'm sorry, Forrest. I guess maybe I'm old school, and I'm pretty sure me and you were about the same age. But
I'm 7.
Yeah, I'm 46.
Okay.
Okay, so we're about the same age.
Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty sure our mothers are about the same age.
Yeah. Well, my mom was born in 59.
My mom was born in 50. So again, they're about the same age.
Okay.
But the reason why I'm going with this is that I don't know how many mothers would walk around in her robe and her robe out, showing her panties and bra and panties. My
No.
mom won't do that.
No. That's great.
Yeah, she, and I'm sitting there looking at this scene, and it's just like, and then you're seeing William Forsythe's character sitting there looking at the 16-year-old girl, and I'm like, okay, is she attractive? Okay, if you want to go there, fine. Yeah, we're gonna go there. But to have this grown man sit there and look at her like, oh yeah, when your mom goes to work, I'm gonna sit here and fuck the shit out of you.
Ugh, God.
Did you see the way how he was checking her out? And
It's ugly shit. It is.
It is ugly. And then and every other word from everyone is fuck and shit and damn, and it's cuss words all the damn time.
That movie sounds like me talking to myself at home.
Think about the scene where when they're taking Michael to, this is, we're fast forwarding to the movie, a part of the scene where they're in Smith's Grove and they're putting him in chains, and that one redneck, who you looking at? I'll beat the fuck out of you. He's just talking about beating the fuck out of Michael, and I'm just sitting here looking at this like, okay. And then there is the rape scene.
Oh, yeah,
that's the theatrical scene. The theatrical one. Okay.
It's another movie with 2 different cuts, and
yeah, 2 different cuts. Yeah.
DVD, they make the DVD version a bit more intense, and I don't even get that version anymore. Not on streaming.
No.
But,
yeah, and I just want to just say one other thing. Outside, there was, again, the movie, there's some good kills, and again, brutal. But that's one thing. Rob Zombie is one thing I found out. He will go all in the movie, in his movies. When he goes in, he does not hold back. There is no imagination.
Even the Monsters movie is brutal with those jokes.
Right. Yeah. So I will give Rob Zombie that. But the things that I just not a big fan of are
Yeah,
the characters. And again, I'm not yeah, it's just the characters and the way how a lot of the way how a lot of certain things are. Outside of that, um that's the only reason why it came lower, because after Jabri told me that,
yeah,
and I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, Jib, thank you for fucking killing me. Because now it started going low. The movie was high, but
yeah,
then when it said that, I'm like, yeah, knowing his backstory and paying attention to his backstory and hearing the wacky redneck family, and Sherry Moon, the way how she is, and then the way it just really it really turned me off.
yeah.
Outside of that, so what's your next one?
Um,
Just turn
nope.
on.
Um, I liked Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 a bit more than his first one.
Okay.
So it's my number 8. However, the first time I saw it was on Blu-ray. And it was that extended cut of his Halloween 2. It was the same thing. It was the opposite of with the previous one. I saw the
Mhm.
theatrical version of his Halloween 1, and then saw the director's cut version of it on DVD. And yeah, they're very different movies. For some reason, they just went with, I guess, to sell 2 DVDs, but they went with 2 almost completely different cuts of Halloween 1, if I remember correctly. It's been a
Mhm.
very long time since I've seen these, like the DVD versions. But
Right.
um, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I saw it on Blu-ray. It was the extended cut, and what I have here, it's experimental, it's weird, it takes risks, and that Rob Zombie in this movie is more like, he's doing the H.G. Lewis thing. He's doing his Jack Hill thing. Jack Hill made Spider Baby.
Yeah.
Spider Baby in the '60s with Sid Haig is about a Sid Haig who I liked the stuff about his Halloween 2 that I think most people really didn't like. I liked all the stuff with the symbolism and the white horse and I like how it was shot. I like how it was lit. Um, I thought it was a pretty good movie, and I also like that he doesn't use the Halloween theme until the end credits. He does
Mhm.
a whole other thing. You 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 expect him to make um a definite like a sequel to his previous one that's more like the first one, right? You
Right.
expect it to kind of be definitely more of the same. And he goes in very strange directions in that second one. Some people hated it. The song "Love Hurts" comes on again at the fucking end credits, but it's sung by like some indie folk singer or something like that.
Mhm.
God, this song again. I always like Nazareth's original "Love Hurts," but yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I just don't think it's like it is dead center in the middle of my list though. Is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, or actually it's there's one right above it. But yeah, it's all right. I could watch it again, but I've only seen the theatrical cut maybe a couple times.
Yeah.
That's the one I guess that's streaming, and that's kind of a different movie from the one that was on Blu-ray, or the one that I saw first. So
Yeah.
I gotta say this: I love Malcolm McDowell. I've always been a Malcolm McDowell fan. So from Clockwork Orange and man, Get Crazy. He plays a rock star in Get Crazy. He's funny as hell in that one. He's I like him in Star Trek Generations a lot. He's a fine actor, man. Malcolm McDowell.
Mhm.
That was very good casting. And in both of those movies, Zombie does this. Zombie does this. He has a lot of cameos, and
Mhm.
my favorite cameos in Rob Zombie in those 2 Halloween movies are in the first one. Um, Loomis goes to the gun store, and the clerk behind the desk is Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. one, Weird Al Yankovic's in the second one, and he's got the line in the movie. He points to the other guy and goes, oh snap, or something like that.
Right.
I love that. I love that about he makes kind of silly movies, but he always kind of did make silly movies. Or House of a Thousand Corpses is really funny. Even the DVD menu screens are funny in House of a Thousand Corpses. So that's what I think. That's what I think of his Halloween 2. I kind of dug it. I liked it more than the first one anyway. Okay. Rob Zombie's 2 Halloween movies are watchable, in parts, and they're dumb as shit on the surface, but there's more going on. There's more going on. He's not just throwing it at the wall. In the first one, we get it's what everybody says they don't like about the first one is that we get Myers's backstory. It's the only movie I think I'm pretty sure it's the only movie in the series to do that, and it should be. They shouldn't do that again. It's like, okay, we did that, and some people liked it, some people didn't. But what I like about his little duology is that we have young Michael. We see him grow up. He gets the mask for the first time, and we see him put the mask on, the Myers mask, like the iconic mask, not the clown mask. Well, no, he gets the mask too, but later. As a child, and then as these 2 movies progress, as this 4-hour story progresses, by the time we're in the second half, that Myers mask has rotted away, and we start to see the man behind the mask, and he does that thing that they always tell you not to do with or that you don't often see with a slasher villain, where sometimes the mask will come off like at a Jason movie, so they can show off a makeup effect, but a lot of the time, we in a Halloween movie, we don't want to see that. We want to keep it we want to keep it more like the original. So he breaks kayfabe a little bit, as they say in wrestling, right? He breaks from tradition. That's okay. It's late enough in the game. It's almost, is it 30 years after the first one? So all right. And I like the way he does that. And that's the only thing about his 2 Halloween movies that are subtle, is that we start to see is that whole idea of seeing behind the mask. So I do like that, and I like a lot of the surreal elements. But yeah, those movies are loud and kind of abrasive, and they're definitely of the time. I so hope that as a nation we can mellow out. I really hope, myself included. I really hope that we can mellow out and calm the fuck down as a country, because I don't want the United States to turn into Rob Zombie's Halloween.
I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm just not going to say anything.
Okay.
So my next one is actually going to be, and I think this is where people are going to look at me like, really, this one. But this one, my next one is going to be the 1981 Halloween 2.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair criticism.
Now, I had to look at this one long and hard. Now, as a kid, this was my favorite. This is the movie that I used to watch all the time.
Yes.
It would always come on TV all the time. I can remember KRRT.
Yeah.
All the time. They would have it all the time. All this time, it would be on all the time. You remember that? And so I would watch it, but then when you get older, you started looking at things differently. And then when you start looking at it through different lenses, and you start looking at it, and again, a bunch of other YouTubers look at them talk about it. Again, Cody Leach, Dead Meat with James A. Denise. We look at, like I told you again, the Cinema Snob. and you're just sitting there looking at a couple of these other guys, and they talk about the movie and they give you backstories, or you look at it through their lenses, and you look at Halloween 2. I'm like, Halloween 2, there is atmosphere. The atmosphere is there.
Totally.
The music is there. John Carpenter's score is great.
Ooh, yeah.
Um, you had the victims. We have all the victims there. Everybody there, from Bud, the horny old man, the teens, everything's there. The problem that I have, let's go ahead. Let me just go ahead and say this. I didn't like Sheriff Brackett, even though he was in the movie for about
Yeah.
a good 2 minutes of screen time. I
Mm,
didn't like this one. You're over there saying he's yelling at Loomis, saying, "You let him out."
right.
Okay, you keep saying, "You let him out." I'm over here wondering, he's here to try to stop him because he escaped, and you're blaming him, and you keep saying, "Damn you, you let him out."
Ow.
Okay, how was this Loomis's fault? Loomis did not. This is not Loomis's fault.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
he's here to try to stop it, but we're going to go with Loomis. Loomis did cause the death of Billy Tramer. Let's just go ahead. So we're going to say that right there.
What does a cinema snob always say? Justice for Ben Tramer or something?
I said Billy Tramer. Yeah, for Billy Tramer. Yeah. Ben Tramer. He did do that, but I'm digressing. That's just a little side comment.
Oh,
Um, the portrayal of Myers. Myers was, and I guess Cody Leach pointed this out, and this is when I was like, "Damn it, Cody! Why I can't believe you said this?" But he said he was like a zombie. He moved like a zombie. Everything he walked was like a zombie.
Dick
And
Warlock. Yeah. Yeah, Dick Warlock does that. I don't know why. I don't
yeah,
know why he does it like that. And Dick Warlock's a hell of a stunt man, and he's got good body language, but I don't know, man. That was an interesting choice. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. See, so that's one of those where it's like I'm looking at this like, damn it, come on, man. He's moving like one of those things. And when he pointed that out, I started looking at like, I'm like, okay,
Yeah. I
if go ahead.
I could see that. No,
Yeah,
I could totally see that. John Carpenter hates that movie. Jamie
yeah.
Lee Curtis hates that movie. Like everybody who was in that fucking movie, like I guess maybe Lance Guest liked it. I don't know. Like most
It probably is because after
yeah. Mm.
because after Last Starfighter, Lance Guest hasn't been relevant. So he's probably looking at this like,
We know. God, I love. God damn it, Last Starfighter is good.
one of my favorite movies of all. I love The Last Starfighter, the music and everything, but I'm digressing. I love it.
Digress. It's your show, man. Shit.
But
Crazy, man.
yeah, but like I said, it's the reason why I have it low is because the tension, the music, it's all there. The office setting, but what got me is the portrayal of Myers, the way how Dick Warlock was in the movie.
Yeah.
Um, it's just like Nick Castle, outside of James U. Courtney, and the King, Nick Castle himself, he set the standard. Dick Warlock just seemed like he put on a mask and just went around just
He did the traditional monster movie thing,
yeah,
Frankenstein mummy bit. You know,
right.
maybe he's thought, well, I'm working at Universal. Let's be a Universal monster. And he kind of, I think maybe he was. I think I saw him in an interview say that he was going for more of that old fashioned monster thing. And yeah, I like the way Nick Castle moves a bit more. That's for sure.
Mhm. Yeah,
For sure.
and then look, we're going to go ahead and say this. I'm not a big fan, and I'm going to say this. I do not like the sibling thing. It to me, it just I hate it. I really didn't like it. So when they threw that twist, that's like Vader, I'm your father. Vader, I'm your father. It's like, one, how would Michael know that was his sister? Because again, he never laid eyes on her.
Hmm.
And so how would he know? Just like we're going to go with Halloween '07. How would he have known, Laurie Strode was his sister
Yeah.
when he never laid eyes on, last time we saw her, she was a baby. So
Yeah.
you tell me now, all of a sudden he's like, he knows, oh yeah, that's my sister. How do you know?
Right. They
You
don't
know,
they don't do too great of a job explaining that.
so that's why I didn't. So if you ask me, that's why when I look at it, I'm looking at it like, okay, I didn't like that. I didn't like it. So when they did 2018 and they took away the familiar thing, I was like, cool. Michael just went out there and just killed people.
Fresh start.
Fresh start. That's just it. So
I dug that.
that's the reason why. And I mean, nothing more. I love the movie, the concept, again, the atmosphere, the music, everything about it. But I did like the way how Michael was portrayed, even though Dick Warlock got in a couple of good kills.
Yeah.
But and then again, I didn't like the familiar. That's why it's down. So it's down because it, to me, it just, when the moment Cody Leach brought that up and he brought up the zombie thing, I'm like, God damn it, that's just, it's like the thing with Jabri. When he said that, I look at it like, damn it, man, now I have to start and the way my mind is going, it's just, I just start overthinking a lot of things. But yeah,
That's
that's fine. Huh?
that's why people hate movie critics, man. that's why that's why movie fans and filmmakers they hate movie critics, man, because they're always pointing out stuff.
Yeah, and then I've got something, and I look at it, or Jabri, I'm looking at it like, damn it, really? Oh God, no, and then you just ruined it.
Okay, so I've got number 7. It's do you want me to just spoil the surprise and put them all together, or
That's fine. Go ahead.
I've got my 7, my 6, and my 5 are basically that most recent Halloween trilogy. That's
Okay.
where I just put them all together, and I could say some good things about them, and I could say some, okay, well, this was a bit off about them. And forgive me for not remembering people's names, even though I used to watch The Righteous Gemstones when I had HBO Max a lot, and I've watched damn it, I've watched Eastbound and Down and Vice Principals, and they're all fucking brilliant, awesome fucking comedy shows, and Danny McBride stars in all of them, and I forget the damn director's name, but because I'm getting old, but it'll come to me later. It'll come to one of us later. But I kind of put them. My order should probably be a little bit differently, but what I've got is Halloween 2018. I saw in a theater. I didn't see the sequels in a theater. I saw the sequels on streaming because of the pandemic and everything. I think was Halloween Kills the one that was delayed?
Halloween Kills was delayed, yeah, because
Okay.
Inch came out a year later.
We were coming out of the pandemic, and I'm immunocompromised. I'm not taking any chances, right? That's not happening. Lupus and some weird disease with no vaccine available, those two don't go together, right?
Right.
So I saw the first one in 2018 in the theater. I was like, all right, a Halloween movie. And at first, David Gordon Green, right?
Yeah.
David Gordon, thank you. At first, I was put off by all the comedy in it. First time I saw, except.
You mean oh God, I got peanut butter on my penis.
It's shit like that. that David Gordon Green and Danny McBride are really good comedy writers. There's the scene that steals the movie is when the girl is babysitting the kid, and the kid's like, nah, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm out. And the little kid is funny as hell in that scene. That and that's the part where Michael Myers is in the closet and kills the baby. Yeah, I loved that. I fucking thought that was great because that's one of those things that answers that question, like why do people do dumb shit in horror films, right? It's the
Right.
thing that people have been bringing up since the Scream movies and even frankly since Jason Goes to Hell, really. Jason Goes to Hell's the one that predates Scream as far as the meta horror thing.
Right.
Hold on, got to itch it. But it does a little bit of commentary on slasher movies without having to do too much of that sort of thing. I thought it had decent writing, and at the time, I thought it had too much comedy. Lately, though, and I also thought that the comedy and the more dramatic scenes were like they kind of clashed a bit. But I saw it in the theater, saw it again later on streaming, and enjoyed it about as much. I thought it was pretty good. I thought Halloween Kills was better. I thought Halloween Kills was a better movie. I thought it was. I loved the idea of dealing with the mob mentality, which we've definitely seen a lot of and saw even more of afterwards. What I really loved about it was that we had actual conflict instead of unlike the Rob Zombie movies or Halloween 6 when it's a lot of conflict where people are screaming at each other just because we need to generate some tension in the movie. This had a really Halloween Kills has a really like you could feel that simmering tension amid the people of Haddonfield. I love stuff like that. That's like what Twilight Zone did well. That's I like The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. That I liked that kind of that like we're gonna take and you've heard the word the trend they call it elevated horror, like that A24 type of movie where it could also pass as a drama, except we also have people getting stabbed and stuff. And I think that they're kind of going for that, and I thought they did that pretty well. And let's see, mob mentality, good characters, actual conflict. Halloween Ends. I also saw that on streaming. I had heard bad things, and I had even heard bad things about Halloween Kills and enjoyed it. Maybe because of that. It might be because of that when I hear that a movie sucks and then I watch it and kind of like, oh, it wasn't too bad. It was all right, I felt that about that. I felt that way about that third one too. I enjoyed a lot of that, a lot of what they were doing, the dynamic between Michael and what's the kid's name who's getting bullied in the third one?
Corey Cunningham.
Cunningham, yeah, Cunningham. Okay, they name him after Sean Cunningham, who made Friday the 13th.
Right.
I actually liked a lot. I actually liked a lot of that stuff. I liked that they were doing something different, that they were kind of telling their own story, and it harkens back to Halloween 3 that does the same thing. So I dug. I could kind of see what they were doing there. I like that song at the end by Boy Harsher. I know they're that's kind of like considered like the overplayed synth pop band or the overplayed whatever they're calling it now, synthwave or whatever. But I like that song at the end. But my favorite thing about that third one was the curtain call that you were talking about earlier, because we see characters from across our three movies. We see characters who we saw in the second one and saw in the first one, and the kid who was the kid who's in the babysitting scene in the first one. He's part of the curtain call at the end, where they're all carrying off the funeral procession, where they're all carrying Myers to the wood chipper, and I loved that because and again when I saw all these different faces popping, I went, oh, there's that guy and there's that kid, and oh, hey man, I loved that. I thought that was great, and I loved the way they killed Michael Myers, like what we used to say about what would kill Jason, right? What if we just chopped him up into itty bitty pieces and threw him in a wood chipper? That would do it, right? And so they actually do that.
Actually did that to Michael.
To Michael Myers. Yeah, I could see why some folks weren't into them, but what I did like about it, those 3 movies, I kind of treat them as one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what I liked about them was that they're trying to make a good Halloween sequel. They're a series of sequels. They're trying to really try new things and set a new bar.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it works and some of it doesn't. I think maybe the comedy's out of place here and there, but I thought they were pretty quality movies. I thought they were. I liked them more than the Rob Zombie ones for sure. I know I liked them more than those.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, those are that's basically my 7, 6, and 5 is David Gordon Green's Halloween sequel trilogy. One other thing though, it
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't need to be 3 movies.
You
Just
get it. You get
I,
just done one.
just because Star Wars did it doesn't mean that another series has to do it. Do we have?
7 is Halloween Kills.
Okay.
The reason why I like about Halloween Kills, I love the brutality
Yeah.
of Myers. He's brutal.
Hmm.
Everything about Michael Myers in this one, James Hugh Courtney. Every time he's on the film, he's in the film. He owned it.
Yes.
Everything about it from his opening scene when he emerged from the weapon shed to the way. Now this is one thing that I can honestly say, and I'm gonna go about this. I hate movie trailers because they think about the scene with the firefighters.
Yeah.
That was in the trailer.
Hmm.
You did not have to put that in the trailer.
Yeah.
There,
Spoiler.
and I'm also think about Halloween 18. There were scenes on Halloween 18 that was in the trailer. Like you didn't have to do that. All you had to do was just find a way how to just put Michael Myers in there.
Yeah.
People running. You could have done that. You did not have to do. You did not have to put that in there. So they ruined the movie. The trailer ruined it. But I watched the movie the other day, and every time I watch it, and it gets to that part where he had that saw blade and he put that person's face, it just it just like, oh my god, that's just fucked up.
That's
And
good.
and the brutality of how he killed the old man, and then he put him over the onto the I guess the island and had that knife, and he's just in there. And to me, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this right now. His movement. I'm gonna say this again. Sort of was something like how our good friend Jabri Jones, how he described something, the way how he moved when he did that. Like I can see Jabri acting the way how Michael did this. It's everything about it. James Jude Courtney owned
he's
it.
yeah, he's
He,
great.
he's great.
He's on.
Uh, I'm just the thing is again. With the mob mentality is what really I didn't like at all. I
Yeah.
did I didn't like the mob mentality. I didn't like the way how they treated their legacy characters.
Mhm.
The music is great. John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and I forgot who else was that. It's on point.
Daniel
But
Da-
uh,
Daniel Davies, who is son of Ray Davies from the Kinks.
yeah, I knew it was the people are stupid in this movie.
Yes.
The people are stupid. And I'm just gonna throw a couple of stupid people. The old lady in the beginning of the movie, she had a chance to escape. She had a trouble. Her husband's getting brutally attacked. She runs to her back door. She can't get out.
Hmm.
She doesn't try to get out. She stops and looks at Michael and she holds up a knife. Michael had enough time to walk through the door, look at her, and she just did, and then what does he do? Michael gets the bulb, hits it, and then stabs her.
Hmm.
Within that time frame, she could have gotten out of the house. Um, I don't know. I don't think that she had the keys, but she could have gotten out of the house and she could have probably gotten down the street, went somewhere else. But instead, she was an idiot. I'll say that. Yeah, she was an idiot. Um, we're gonna go ahead and go with the um with the nurse from Halloween one. She's an idiot. She had a gun, 6 rounds, and she wastes all six. And then when she had a clear shot, hey Michael, this is for Dr. Loomis, and click. Oh, I,
She made a movie mistake.
okay. Her husband, I get. I mean, the husband guy who got stabbed in the eye. I get it. He's trying to stop. He gets stabbed in the eye. Okay,
Yeah.
but then the lady who sits there, she's shooting at Michael, and Michael kicks the door, and then turns the gun, and then she shoots herself in the face. Okay, idiot. You can get. You're over here talking about. Yeah, I was shooting my father all the time. I can hold this gun. I'm fine. But you missed him. You had him in clear shot, and you missed. And then the biggest dummies of all was the group of people who surrounded Michael Myers, beats him up, and not one person goes for a clean headshot to kill him. Somebody had a gun, shoots him in the chest. No, fool, you don't shoot him in the chest. Go in the head. Why are you shooting him in the chest?
Mm.
And then that's why it's like, okay, the mob mentality and the stupid people. There's other stupid people on there like Big John with who get the little knife and goes upstairs. Like, what are you gonna do with the little knife if you have an intruder?
Yeah.
But again, there's other stupid people, but I love the score. I like the way how they went about it. I just wish that if you take away the mob mentality, if you take away the stupid people, and you know what, there's also this Wikipedia that I remember when they did their first showing before the movie was released. They had Michael being very brutal. I mean, he killed. Remember those little obnoxious kids?
Yes.
They there. I read where they showed him killing those kids.
Like the bus scene in the previous one, huh?
Yeah,
Like that
he
guy.
no, yeah, just like that. He was actually supposed to kill those kids,
They
but,
don't.
but again, they took it away.
Yeah, they wouldn't need it. You don't need it. Nah,
Mm,
not after that bus scene. You already have it. Yeah.
yeah.
So like, oh, by the way, Michael kills kids. Okay, well, yeah, of course he does. Of course he would. Yeah. Why wouldn't he? Is he gonna go pet a dog or something? No, he eats.
He'll eat
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
But
So I think yeah, I could see that though. I could see that. Like
yeah,
why I definitely could see why they would cut that.
yeah, but yeah, that's my number seven. Uh,
Okay.
what
Do your number six.
okay. My number six is Halloween 2, 2009, Rob Zombies.
Okay. Up,
And,
up than mine.
yeah, because again, you know what? Actually the movie was lower. And again, remember how I told you when somebody else gets in your ear about something, when you're so stubborn about something,
Yeah. Well,
and
that's
then
all.
and then I sat there and I looked at it. I'm like, you know what? This is different. Cody Leach again.
Yeah.
He said he was telling me like, a lot of people hate this movie, but you know something? They were doing something different. They were not going for the same thing. They're not going shot for shot for Halloween 2. They made it. Rob Zombie made that movie his own.
I like that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you look at it that way, so that hatred that I had for the movie, and you look at it for that way, I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely fucking right. I'm
Sure.
over here not liking the movie because I'm just like, oh, this movie's stupid, and this white horse, and Doctor and Loomis is an idiot, and all this other stuff. But you know something? Rob Zombie made it his own, and you know what? No matter what, that movie, it actually is. If you look at it that way, it is pretty good. Michael again is brutal. Think about the hospital scene. Um,
Yeah.
then there is some tension in the movie. Um, I don't like the ending. I'm sorry, I just didn't like the ending. I don't know which huh?
I'm trying to remember two different endings.
Yeah, there are two different endings.
Yeah,
Lori dies in the end, or Lori's in a is in an institution.
she
I
does
don't
Norman Bates smile at the end, right? She
right.
does. He wouldn't hurt a fly, and she does
Yeah,
that. She does this thing. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember. I remember. Yeah, it's kind of okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah. So that's why, like I said, I get when I look at it that way, I'm like, you know what? That movie's not as bad if you look at it that way. I'm
Yeah.
over here not liking the movie because I'm like, God, this movie, my God, Michael is it's overkill. The way how he kills people, oh my God, this is just way too much. But when the moment you somebody else just says, look at it this way. Oh, now I see. Yeah, okay. Now you barely hear the Halloween theme. So and that sucks. But other than that, yeah, I got it. I got that is my number. What? This is my number six.
And
My
now you have number five. Uh,
the eight.
yes.
They did a lot, everything, a lot of continuity, everything. It felt like it was the '70s. I even noticed because me and Sharita, we were watching it. We were watching it last week, and I don't know if you remember, but when they were in front of the Myers house, the Smiths Grove station wagon was parked across the street.
Oh, nice.
I was just sitting there watching. I'm like, hey, that's the Smiths Grove. They really paid eye to detail to this. Everything they paid, they really paid close eye to detail to every Halloween 4.
Hey, all right.
Halloween 4. I hate the mask. We're going to start off with the mask. You
Not
know,
great.
you remember? I'm trying to remember the TV show. I want to say it was Today's Special, and I think I want to say, and I'm gonna have to look it up, and I'm gonna fact check myself. But there was this clown called Coco,
I remember. On
and every time I look at that mask, I think of Coco. I can't take you serious. You killing people. You look like a freaking clown in that mask.
oh,
It's just a plain white mask. I'm just waiting for him to juggle and whatever. I hate the mask. But outside of that, the movie is tension filled. From the opening scene, from when you look at the opening, the title is tension. I sat there and I watched it one time, and I'm sitting here looking at the way how everything is, from even though it's not the John Carpenter theme, and
yeah.
it's just doom.
Mhm.
They're having all these little the atmosphere, like they show this little shed, and I'm expecting like, and the 17-year-old me, I remember watching it, and I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm like, man, what if somebody comes walking out of that thing? That would be freaking me out.
Uh,
Because the way how it was set, it would it's just from that point it was tension. Um, you can try to give me a good reason how Michael Myers survives and how he gets out, how he escapes, whatever. So you mean to tell me that the man's been sitting there comatose for years, and all of a sudden he gets all of the extremities and he's strong enough to get up and go? Whatever. We'll bypass that because we need him. We need him to go. I'll forgive you for that one. Um, but again, how do you know who Jamie Lloyd is?
mhm.
Never, never. Just like with Laurie Strode, how do you know this is your niece? You never laid eyes on her. You don't have this psychic connection like in Five. But the way how he went about everything was just so tension filled, especially in the third act when they're in the house,
No.
and the way how he's just sitting there in the house. You know he's in the house, and you don't know when he's going to strike. Even that scene where old girl is just talking, she's bringing him tea, and he's sitting in he's sitting in the chair just rocking, and he's like, yeah, nothing like old MTV. She lights up, and you see the deputy's head like this, and then Michael gets up. You're thinking everything's normal. You don't know that You don't know that it's not Michael. It's to me that if you watch it the first time, the very first time, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
It's everything about that movie. You know that now that is a good way of mob mentality also because
sure.
you have a bunch of drunk rednecks.
Guys at the end of the movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the first one to do that. Well,
yeah,
no, the second one really is because
mhm,
there's a lot of that in the second one. But
mhm,
yeah, I get you.
yeah. They have that. They have so we're on our final four.
Um, okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Um, my number four is your
Mhm,
number five. I really like Halloween four a lot.
mhm,
Um, and we've talked about it a little when we were talking about five, but I love I love that it's got that continuity from the first one.
yeah.
Um, and despite the kind of bad idea of having Michael um, and Laurie be brother and sister in the second one, at least they don't just ignore it. They take what's there and they make it work. And so
Mhm,
that it's even though I've got Halloween 2 higher, Halloween 4 is arguably a better movie.
mhm,
It's definitely probably a better movie.
yeah,
Definitely, probably that makes sense, right? But
yeah.
I don't have too many bad things to say about Halloween 4. I think that's a solid late 80s horror flick. And it doesn't have it goes back to the idea of not having a lot of blood, going
Mhm,
more suspense thing. And the goriest effect in the movie isn't even really an effect. It's when Michael does the thumb in the guy's face.
yeah,
All they did was kind of just bunch up the guy's actual skin or something.
yeah,
Oh man, it's the sound effect that really gets you, that crunch, and the
yeah,
guy's that works. That kind of stuff works. It's almost like a student film kind of effect, but it's good.
yeah.
Um, and you beat me to it with the title sequence. I love that title sequence. I love that they go in a completely new direction with that, and I love that it's in the daytime. Halloween
Mhm,
4 is scary in the daytime, like the first one. Halloween
right.
4 is scary in the daytime. I love that idea. That's cool. It's like, oh, okay. By the way, we haven't seen Michael Myers in a long time, not since 1982, movie, 81 movie wise. But hey, guess what? The sun has come up. It's a new day, and you're all still gonna get killed. Yeah. It's some standout performances. I forget his last name. It's Sasha something.
Sasha Jensen.
Jensen. He's also in Dazed and Confused, and
Mhm,
he is fucking hilarious in Dazed and Confused, and he's pretty funny in Halloween 4. He's actually a pretty funny guy to watch. The line "fuck off Wade" is gonna like I'll be saying that on my deathbed. I think that shit's so fucking funny. I love that Cinema Snob sometimes references that. I think he's got it on like some merchandise or something like that. Been about like 11 or 12, and yeah, wow, what's going on with
yeah,
this?
just that scene itself for walking around. Yeah, probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
You're number 4, right?
Halloween H2O.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Now, I will also say this: I hate the mask. I I hate the mask of it. Me and you, we were talking about that. You know, the CGI mask is horrible. There's so many variations of that the other mask. I just was not a fan of. Outside of that, your friend again, it's your friend of ours, Jabri Jones,
Yes.
introduced me. Me and him, we went to go see that movie opening weekend. We went and took my mom to my grandmother's house. This is the first time I ever drove. I had a car. I had got my car 2 weeks prior, and I took my mom, me, Jabri. We took my mom to my grandmother's house, and I told Jib, I'm scared to get on the highway. And he's like, get on, and you know how it is. You get on the highway, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'm scared going. I'm taking 410, because my grandma stays off Frigsby, so I'm scared going down 410. And I'm driving, and
Uh,
and then the next I'm getting comfortable, so I'm fine more and more. I'm driving more and I'm comfortable. We get to the Galaxy Theater, and we're sitting up there. We're like, and it's a packed house, so we're sitting kind of up front, and we're watching a movie, and I'm watching a movie, and I'm like, okay, I really like the way how this movie's going. I'm really like the way how it is. There's not that many kills in it. We know this. There's not that many kills. I believe there is about 6 or 7 kills. I want to say there's 6 or 7 kills.
that. Yeah, it's kind of it takes its time with the body count. That's all
Yeah,
right. That's
that's
not a
fine. Remember, it's all about tension, and it's all about the tension and music.
yeah.
Uh, they did a good job of building up the tension, like when they're downtown, somehow, some way, they're downtown, and she gets in the car, and the moment she gets in the car and she drives off, you see that same car that Michael's in is just right there, and the way how the camera got there and the music, boom, and it's like, okay, but I just always want to know one thing. How do you not know that somebody's following you? You drove, and if somebody's taking turns and following you, don't you pay attention to these things?
Mm.
I've
Oh,
no, and I've just always wanted to know that, but that's just a nitpick. Whatever, we got to find a way how to get to where we are. So if that's just one of those things, I'll take that. You know, the job, the way how Lori is affected and the way how she was with John, and don't, when, because you brought up the one thing, yeah, I can see her being an alcoholic.
oh yeah.
Uh,
Totally.
yeah, so I can see her being an alcoholic. Now in 18, I could see, her being a gun-toting survivalist. When damn well this man is there and she's just gun-toting survivalist, and the way what she did with her daughter, that's a different subject for a different time. It's
That's why they made her such a. They turned her into Terminator 2 Sarah Connor in
Yeah,
the Gordon
you,
Green
you might as well that's what she might as well have been, just Sarah Connor. The way how she was. Annie Oakley, the way how she was holding that shotgun. I mean, had a buck knife, and the way everything about her is just like, okay.
movie.
I kind of liked her being an alcoholic, trying to
Yeah.
find some kind of normalcy, and I can see that could have, just like in 2018, where that could have affected her marriage. I know that it was implied that husband was the reason, but I'm going to go on the, nah, Lori, I think it's you, because the way how you are with John, I'm gonna, I think husband was probably like, yeah, no, I can't deal with this shit anymore.
It's trauma.
There's a
But
trauma, yeah.
it's trauma.
Right. I mean, if you need a drink, go ahead, take a drink. If you want
Yeah.
to, then I'm not going to hold that against you. Uh,
Oh.
but but I did love the tension in the movie. I
Yes.
love the music may not have been John Carpenter esque, but I did like the music. I did like it. Now again, Kill Count brought this up, and when he and I don't know, again, something you probably never brought up, you never thought of. There's a scene where Michelle Williams and Jodie Lynn O'Keefe, they're watching Scream,
Mm.
and and in that scene
But in
where,
Scream, they watch Halloween.
yeah, and
Yeah.
she was watching Halloween, and in that scene where Randy's watching Halloween,
Yeah.
and there it is, and he's talking about Jamie, Jamie, don't answer the phone, and they said, so if you look at it that way, Jamie is right there. You're watching Halloween, watching Scream, and you're
Yep.
watching H2O. So he's sitting here saying that. So if you want to look at this universe the way how it goes, they're actually watching Halloween. They're actually watching the movie Halloween, what really happened, and they could have saw their headmaster there. They're like, oh, that's Laurie Strode right there. So it was one of those things when he brought up, like, my God, why are we complicating things? But again, I never really paid attention. I just said, oh wow, they're watching. Okay, they're watching Scream. What's your favorite scary movie? But then when he brought up, But when he started nitpicking, and this is why I can't stand with everybody now in the internet universe now. We nitpick everything. We
No.
notice everything. We don't watch the movie. We watch everything.
Okay. Is it me?
Yes, it's you.
Okay. So this will make everything pretty obvious. All right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because you have one, two, and three. So
Well, yeah, yeah, and I don't have I'm not Mr. I'm not gonna have too many surprises here. But the only real like switcherooski here is I like my number three is Halloween 2 from '81. And that's because it's got that Dean Condy cinematography again. That's what I like about the first three Halloween movies. There's some continuity there with how those movies look and how those movies sound. John Carpenter does the scores on 1 and 3. On 2, it's just Alan Howarth sitting in the studio listening to Carpenter's score from the first one and just redoing the cues. So it was
right.
mostly Alan Howarth. A lot of people, I didn't know that until years later. I think I read it in the album liner notes on the vinyl version or something like that. But it could have been some other source. But I really have a fondness for Halloween 2. Sometimes I just want to watch Halloween 2 instead of the first one.
Mhm.
Normally I'll watch back to back. I think a lot of folks will. Like, hey, it's more of the night he came home. All right, let's do let's do this. I got some
So you
time. Let's
just just watch it all together instead of just
use
watching
they're
it.
used you use I like that they kind of upgrade the first one a little bit in terms of budget, in terms of production. It's got a few cameos. Dana Carvey from Saturday Night Live is in one
Yeah.
scene.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Camera guy.
if I could hear anybody do Donald Pleasance's voice, because he was standing right there listening to him. If I could hear anybody do the actor who played is it Charles Cyphers who played Sheriff Brackett? You
Yeah.
let him out.
You let
Like,
him out.
if I could hear anybody do that voice, I'd love to hear Dana Carvey do it actually, because that'd be he was right there. I love the look of that movie. Uh, Dean Cundy was at Universal for a while. He worked for everybody, but like he shot Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He worked with Robert Zemeckis a lot.
Yeah.
But his stuff with Universal always looks good. His stuff with Universal is just beautiful, like Halloween 2 and the three Back to the Futures. Those are such phenomenal looking movies, just
Mhm.
gorgeous, right? Um, it seems that Jamie Lee Curtis is not in the movie as much as she should be.
Yeah. 'Cause she's
Yeah,
considered.
that's kind of odd. That's kind of odd. Um, it also seems that her hair got bigger because that wig.
That wig.
But oh man, she does a good job in that movie. I think even it's I mean she looks scared. She's a good actress. Jamie Lee Curtis is a fucking good actress, man. That part now, that scene in the parking lot where she's crawling and
Mhm.
she can barely move and she can barely get the words out. Like all of that stuff is really, I mean, of course in real life she'd scream right away. She wouldn't have that much trouble, right? But it's a movie. If she that scene's really effective where she has to scream out, "Help me!" and they can't.
Yes.
That's heavy. That's heavy duty stuff. Um, I love the kills in Halloween too. I love that claw hammer to the back of the head. I
Oh,
love,
every time I look at that scene, that just
yeah, that's rough,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And that's kind of like the one in Friday the 13th Part 2
Yeah.
with the yeah, yeah, in Jason's weirdo shack out in the his delivery shack out in the fucking woods, man. But
And
I like how Dr. Mixture gets
well,
the needle, and I
and
love.
then old girl, like comes from the shadows.
Oh yeah, and they redo the shot from the first one. Yeah, where
Yeah.
Mike appears. Oh, that's great stuff. That movie used to be on cable all the time. That movie used to be on KRRT and KABB all the time.
Yes.
Um, that my grandmother said my grandmother had it on one night, and I kind of left her. She wasn't a horror film fan at all, but she just had a movie on, and she just happened to have that channel on, and I kind of I think I went to bed, and I came back. It was late at night, and I came back the next morning. Hey, did you watch all of Halloween 2 or what? She's like, that was horrible. I had to change the channel. That was just awful.
Right.
But the the scene with Bud, and I forget the nurse's name, but where where they're in the sauna, and Michael puts her head in the water, and she
Yeah.
comes up and burns, and all that stuff. That's a rough scene. That goes on for a minute. That's hard to watch. That's
Hmm.
still pretty effective. Like I think Halloween 2 is I think Halloween 2 has its issues, but in terms of mood and a lot of it's got a lot of upsides too. I think I've always liked that movie. That was the first time, because I had seen the first one, but I didn't remember it. I was a little kid, so I was actually a little more familiar with the second one because that was on a bit more often. But I've always had a soft spot for Halloween 2. I know I saw it more than the first one when I was a kid. I
Hmm.
always liked that. I always liked the kind of upgraded sound of the score, even though the original score is better. I really like that. I like that kind of early '80s synth, like they're using different synthesizers and different different techniques, and I dig that.
Hmm.
It is we mentioned it. We were talking about it earlier. It is definitely a post Friday the 13th Halloween sequel. Like, hey man, we got to do something. We got to step up the shock value uh, pretty quickly, because this other series from Paramount is gaining on us, and we got to, I mean, that's why they put out Halloween 2. I'm assuming that's why they put out Halloween 2 to begin with, because it took them forever from 78 to 81.
Hmm.
I guess because Halloween was still in theaters for a long time. Maybe
Right.
that, because they just kept putting that movie out over and over again back then. That's
Yeah.
when we would have third and fourth runs, like Star Wars would be on its second run and third run back then. I wish they would do that a bit more often, give you a chance to see it in a theater again. But yeah,
Right.
the only thing, and I know why. I know why it's there. Because it's a goddamn Universal picture, okay? And hey, you know what? I love Universal. I love the Universal monsters, and they must own the rights to the song, and that's why it's in there. But Mr. Sandman does not need to be in that movie.
I was
There is
always wondering about that. Why is it that when the movie opened, it was there like Mr. Sandman?
on number three
Yes,
or
I'm on three.
three. Okay,
Okay. My three is Halloween 3.
yeah, all right.
See, now remember when this movie first came out? When this movie first came out, nobody liked the movie. Because why? If everybody was expecting a Michael Myers. I remember telling my younger brother, "No, you're not gonna like this movie because Michael Myers isn't in it." My older brother told me that, and I was like, "You're not gonna like it." And so I'm like, whatever. But when you find out about the history about it and where John Carpenter was trying to go with it, and he wanted to be an anthology, and then when you look at it that way, like when again you open your eyes and you start seeing it in a different way, you're like, oh, that makes sense. And when you watch the movie's fucking scary.
It's great.
It is really freaking. It is really scary. Come on, as a kid, when we were kids, when it came to Halloween, we always wanted something where it was a mask, wearing a mask. So what is it? So that scene where the kid put on when he's wearing a mask, and then he plays the music, and he plays a song like Happy Happy Halloween, Halloween, and then the kid is the kid dies, he can't get the mask off, and then all the snakes and worms and all that other stuff comes out. That freaked me out because think about all the kids in the world, all the kids in the world was going to do with once your mask around that time. We loved Halloween.
Yeah,
and and just seeing that, who can probably freak it out, and then also the ending.
Yes.
Like you said, he won. He won. You can shut it off. So that's to me. It's like I love that fact. Colonel Cockrell. That's what I was looking at. That's what I'm thinking of. Colonel Cockrell. He won.
Yep.
Um. So I'm also, and I'm just saying.
She goes like,
And the funny thing is, bro, I'm thinking about how we were saying the Last Starfighter.
yes.
Again, he played Greg.
Yes. I still laugh like him sometimes, and I do the I can still do the weed slap. Oh man, I love that movie.
Yeah,
I love.
yeah. I love. So that's what I was gonna say. Like, I love the fact of how of the atmosphere, the music again, the
Yeah.
music. John Carpenter, he does it when it comes to the music. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Remember? Remember?
Halloween 3 is my number 2, by the way. So we're both talking about the
Yeah.
same.
So go ahead. Go ahead. Let's go ahead. Segue to number two.
But I was told, because I didn't see how I saw Halloween 3 in the probably early 90s. I
Mhm.
probably saw it. I didn't see it till later. In fact, I was always wondering what the hell happened to Halloween 3. I have never seen this movie. What's with that? I knew about the first two, had never seen the third one. I just knew that it existed. And then
Right.
well, they did this and they went in this other direction and nobody likes it. And I went, okay, well, if nobody likes it, I'll watch it later. And then I watched it later and fucking loved it. I love that movie. And I love what Wallace has to say about it. He says, um, Halloween and Halloween 2, those are knife movies, but Halloween 3 is a pod movie. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or the Puppet Masters or something like that. It's a whole other kind of flick. Yet I can't help but wonder if they do take place in the same universe and we just don't know it. Like maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Dr. Chalice is watching the first movie on
Mm.
TV like they do in Scream, so probably not. But it's all just Hollywood magic anyway. But what did I write here? That was actually what I wrote. Was mostly about Tommy Lee Wallace. I've always been a fan of Tom Atkins since I saw Night of the Creeps.
Mhm.
I fucking love Tom Atkins.
Hey,
He's
ladies, your dates are here.
say what?
Hey, ladies, your dates are here.
It's here. And he says it with just, I mean, with just such cigar chomping glee.
Yeah.
He's such a good actor, Tom Atkins, and
Mhm.
you know shows up on Joe Bob Briggs' show now and then and gives him some shit.
Yeah.
He's fucking great, man. Um, yeah, and you also get Nancy Loomis one more time as a totally different character. Nancy Loomis pops up one more time in
Yeah.
Halloween, and you could tell I mean, even if she looks a little different, you can't. Yeah, she's kind of hard to recognize. I think she's got some like some gray streaks or something in the hair, but
Mhm.
the voice, the voice, she's got this signature.
Totally, totally, totally.
What, no, not BJ Souls.
Oh,
She was
oh, 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 I
high
forgot.
school.
We're talking about what's recall. Okay. I don't know
Nancy
why. Yeah.
Laurie Linda went up. She's got this tone to her voice that
Yeah.
would be pretty annoying after a while. But God, she's got this. She's got a very
Oh, Lindsay.
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her, man. She's great. I have nothing bad to say about Halloween 3. I think it is one of the most entertaining movies of the 80s, and it
Mhm.
was criminally underrated when it came out. And I wish I had seen it sooner. I would have been defending it back then too.
Yeah, and that's where I feel kind of bad about, because again, I fell into that. You won't like it. Michael Myers isn't in there, so
Yep.
I'm just like, so what about the movie? You have the memorable song. You have the memorable one. I even have it on my ringtone when you call. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween. I did that. and Sharita, she'll listen, she'll hear it out and be like, "Really, I can't believe you did that." Like, it's Halloween time. Why not?
It's gonna be in her head for like
Yeah,
2 or 3 weeks, man.
right. So yeah, I mean, when you look, people, if people understand what they're trying to do with Halloween, if you look, when you realize that Halloween is actually was supposed to be intentionally supposed to be an anthology.
Well, he he decided to do that with the third one. It wasn't necessarily. I mean, it wasn't even. The first one wasn't even supposed to have a sequel. It was a
No,
one.
no, not at all. Yeah, it was just supposed to be that one. That was just it.
But if they had done 4 as an anthology film, it would have. Yeah, it kind of would have made more sense in the long run. I I don't know, man. Everybody says they should have just called it Season of the Witch, but there was already a movie called Season of the Witch. It was a George Romero film, so
Mhm.
there's that too. But yeah, I've got nothing bad to say about Halloween 3. It's too good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where I can get behind the, like, I really liked it. I don't see anything wrong with it. You're not going to watch Halloween 3 because Michael Myers is not on there, then you're missing out on a good movie.
that's a
Open,
good.
it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Now, my number 2 is actually Halloween 2018. Now,
Okay. All right.
this is the thing, because at first I had to think long and hard while I was doing my list, and I realized one thing. Outside of the stupid jokes, um, outside of, let's say, like I said, the stupid jokes, the movie did what it was supposed to do,
Yes.
and it was tension filled. When Michael got out, it was tension filled.
Yeah.
Even from the beginning, when they're in Smith's Grove, and they're over in the podcasters talking to Michael, and he's like trying to get him to talk, and everybody's all this, and the music and the camera panning off to everyone. Say something. Michael's just sitting there, just with his back turned. It's tension to me. You're thinking all this stuff, and you think that's gonna turn around, and you probably gonna see Michael turn around and like just look at him, but instead he just keeps his back to him. The
Yeah.
tension was there. I do feel this is the other thing that I think they missed out on was, again, like I said, I wish they could have had Lori be the reason why Michael escaped. The reason why, she's been obsessed with them since 2000, since the what happened in '78. So she's been wanting to kill him.
Yeah.
So what's the best chance then when he's out from Smith's Grove? You could have just followed behind, ran the bus off, got your shotgun, tried to shoot him. They're fighting with her, and somehow, some way he gets loose, and then he leaves.
Right.
That's but let's say he kills all the guards, and then Lori, she gets in her truck and takes off, and then that's why she goes over there to everyone. I saw him, the shape. But that's where they missed out on. So I can probably get behind. Let's just say that we're going to go with Dr. Sartain is the reason why he
Oh, forgot about him. I forgot
yeah,
about.
he was, let's go ahead and get behind. Let me go ahead and just say he's the reason why. Okay, fine, whatever. But everything about that movie was tension filled, and I hated the fact that they showed a lot of this in the trailers.
Yeah.
You see, to me, it's like like the scene like you were brought up about in the closet when she's trying to close the closet door. They didn't have to show that.
Right.
All they had to do was just all you had to do was you didn't even have to show that scene. Can you close the closet door? You didn't have to do that.
I'm
Um,
trying to avoid trailers now because of that. I try to avoid them because of spoilers.
right.
Movie trailers, unless it's a big, big flick. Unless it's something big, usually
Yeah.
like a Halloween sequel. Really, it's something I really want to check out or I've really been excited about. A lot of the time, I skip trailers now. I used to love them.
Yeah, I used to, but now it's like you're giving the movie away.
And there's not, and
Um,
the voiceovers aren't quite as good. I don't even
yeah,
know if they do voiceovers in trailers anymore. I don't think they do now. I think it's all just text. It's okay, that's fine, but man, pay somebody cool to say something great, man.
there's also there's also I can understand why Lori and her daughter do not get along because again in H2O
Yeah,
you saw that, and because again this really affected her. But the way how the whole movie was just so tension filled. The way the last act when they're in her house and in Lori's home and Michael's playing hide and seek. The way how they interchanged everything. The way how Michael like found them hiding underneath the island, the kitchen island. Um, things like that just really I'm like I really like the way how 2018 was. I know a lot of people don't like it because again they hated Sartain. I know some people hated again. I don't like the jokes. I hated the jokes. Oh God, I got peanut butter on my penis.
and
you
everybody
know,
quotes it now though. Like
uh,
everybody quotes that stupid line.
it's stupid. Um,
That's barely a joke. Danny McBride could have come up with something better than that.
but my thing is, how did you get peanut butter on your penis?
I think what he means is he got it on his pants, but he wants to say penis because he gets a chance to say it and it gets a it gets a
Right.
cheap, it's a cheap laugh. That's a cheap shit joke.
It is. But I know another thing that I liked is they definitely did a good job of making sure everything from that the continuity from 78
Yeah,
translated over to 2018.
hell yeah.
There was the good continuity. They paid a good the eye to detail
Those
where they
movies,
went with it. So that's why this is my number two. But I think it's obvious we know where number one is.
I know that people like to be I know people like to be contrarian just to be contrarian now. They want to everybody wants to be the guy who turned everybody on to this completely new thing and on and on. I don't. I think Halloween. First time I saw Halloween was on cable. Well, I was on it was probably around the time the second one was in theaters, but I wouldn't be able to pinpoint it because it's been so long ago. But I know that we had cable for the first time probably around that time, around 81, and maybe even 1980. But I do remember seeing the first Halloween before seeing the second one,
Yeah.
being quite enamored with that soundtrack and really, really digging that music. Um, Saw it later on VHS, like years later, because I never. It was kind of hard to catch the original Halloween on television for a while.
Right.
You would catch the sequels, but it was kind of hard to see. It was kind of hard to see the first one. We got to get to the parking lot. We got to get to my car. I had like a total like I'm 19 and crazy moment. And I said, let's go, come on, come on. She's like, what are you talking about? We're gonna go we're gonna drive about 10 miles and come back because I want to go borrow some money from my dad and go get this VHS because I want to watch it this weekend. I want to watch it 7 times this weekend. It's Halloween. It's in widescreen. Oh my God, And drove there way too fast. Borrowed some money from my dad. He probably hadn't heard me talk that fast since I was 10. Borrowed some money from my dad. Oh my God, we're going to Halloween. You can't believe it, man. And got the cash. Wait, give me 25 just in case there's tax. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Get in the car, drive back way too fast, just insane. Park, ran upstairs, went to Suncoast, bought Halloween on VHS, drove real slow home, and I studied that movie. I was going to be a filmmaker. I wanted to make films for a long time. I decided that music was more my thing. But I was trying to be a filmmaker, and I had made a bunch of student films and that kind of thing. And I studied the hell out of that movie.
Mhm.
I wanted to live in that movie, the way it's shot and the way it looks, and the mood, the atmosphere. Even though it's shot in California and it's supposed to be in Illinois, though they had to paint the leaves,
Yeah.
uh, I love I that's one of those movies. It's like Willy Wonka.
Hmm.
It's Wizard of Oz. It's like Star Wars. It creates a world that, even though it's like Frankenstein, it creates a world. Even though that world is terrifying, I could walk around in that world and kind of lose myself in it for a while. That's what I like about David Gordon Green's sequels. Actually, he really does build on it. And that's what I liked about a lot of the sequels, Halloween 2 and 4 especially. Um, that movie made Escape from New York probably made John Carpenter my favorite filmmaker, because I was seeing stuff retroactively. I was seeing movies that I had missed. Um, and I was a big Tarantino fan, and I borrows from Black Christmas a little bit here and there, especially the opening. But that movie, it didn't invent the slasher movie, but it gave the slasher movie its essential tropes.
Yeah.
Um, from the, I mean, a lot of those tropes come from Halloween, or at least were done best in Halloween. The final girl, the masked killer, all of that kind of stuff. I've got I've seen it so many times. It's kind of like Metallica albums. I've heard them so many times that,
Mhm.
it's like, those albums of your youth that you've heard maybe too much. I've seen Halloween 1 a lot, but I still put it on every year. Well, not some years. Lately, some years I don't. But I used to watch it on Christmas Eve. I
Mhm. Right.
would watch it. I'd watch it on Halloween and on
I
Christmas
watch
Eve.
it all the time. Real quick. I'll put it like this. Again, we're gonna always. I'm gonna go back to our mutual friend Jabri Jones.
Yeah.
He's the one that got me onto the Halloween craze. Remember, I watched the movie, but I didn't understand it until I got around him. I think maybe you were there at that time when you were there at Southwest. It was Southwest at the time, not Texas
The
State.
one
There
Southwest.
was
It's
there was you guys did some type of haunted house, and you guys invited some kids onto the campus. Jabri got a Michael Myers mask and some coveralls,
Oh man.
and he scared the hell out of a kid. And the little kid, they're like, ah. So Jim was like, he broke character,
Sorry. he
not
broke
realizing that you did your job.
he broke character. No, it's not the
He told me that, and when he told me that, I'm like, come on, Jim, really? No,
that tells tells me how sweet of a guy he was.
yeah,
That tells me how beautiful of a guy Jabri was, because he didn't want the kid to be sad or afraid. He's like, oh no, I'm sorry, it's cool. It was like I had to do the same thing in the Chuck E. Cheese costume, man.
right. So, and I remember he would talk, and he talked about it. Even did a research paper on Halloween.
Yeah.
And so, and the thing is, what gets you the most, and I'm gonna tell you something like I told, what gets me the most is I'm scared. I'm scared of, not of Michael Myers, but the idea of Michael Myers. So let me explain. When I was a kid, when I was 17 years old, we were living on the east side, and we're up the street was Virginia. The next street over is Iowa. I was living on Iowa, right across the street from the Boys and Girls Club.
I drive by there all the time now. Yeah.
So we're
On the
going
way to
down.
work.
Yes. Now I'm going down Virginia, and then there's a middle street that cuts into Iowa. This is late at night. This is about 9:30, 10. Now that middle street doesn't it's dark, but on Iowa, right over there, it has like a headlight. It has a light, and I'm walking down the street. I'm just walking, and for some reason, my mind just starts thinking Michael Myers is about to walk across. It's going to come. Now, I don't know how it just popped into my head. And so I'm like, no, 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 no. But the more I keep getting closer to that light, the more and
Yeah.
more I seeing the man coming across coming on the corner. And so then I'm over here like freaking out. And then the moment I get there, the moment I get to Iowa, I run home. So I run home and I hurry up and get in the house, lock the door, and I'm like, oh my God, because I let my imagination run away with me. The thing what kills me the most is the fact of is just the way how he is, the way how John Carpenter portrayed everything. We're going back to everything we're saying, the tension, the music, everything, the subtlety. It's not about the kills, it's about everything else.
Yep.
That's why to me, that's why when I look at a horror movie, that's what I create. You don't have to look at the first person POV. Who gives a care about that? I want to, you know what? I don't care. Yeah, kills are kills, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But at least have me scared half to death beforehand. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's where I like the first one. I love the way how they did all this, and like, and what I think it was a $300,000 budget. Am I right? three
It
hundred
was
thousand
cheap.
dollars. It
It
was
was, I
it
think,
was a cheap budget.
recommended reading real quick. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Fangoria number 138. If you could track down Fangoria number 138, that is the issue where they run, where they tell you all about Halloween, all about the making of Halloween, and I think it is the first appearance of the Shatner mask story. It
Hmm.
may have been some other book, but that's where I read it first. Men, Women, and Chainsaws by Carol Clover. Read that book. It's amazing. Shock
Yeah.
Value by Jason Zinneman. Read that book. It's amazing. John
Mm.
Carpenter, The Prince of Darkness by Gilius Bollinger or something like that. It's a book of interviews. It's a really long interview book. I just wanted to get that. I just wanted to get that out there. Those are some good books to check out. That Fangoria is especially probably hard to find. Okay, sorry that took so long.
Oh no, no. Hey, again, remember, like I said, this is something that again, this can be edited out. A lot of this is just mainly about us just free balling, and then a lot of us, then also you dealing with the cats. So trust me, it's fine. You're fine.
Free balling.
But
Was it that city song in the 90s?
I get free falling. Okay. But I'm Sasha D. Robinson. Hey, everyone, go check out Forrest of his YouTube page, Southbound Tracks.
Yeah, I've got if you go to Southbound Tracks on YouTube, I've got a few videos, but it's mostly music. And if you look for my name, my first and last name, really, Forrest Gabitsch with two R's like the movie, and then Gabitsch is Gabitsch. Okay, okay, more Carpenter talk there. If I've got music on Spotify, on Apple Music, and on Bandcamp, and it's all very electronic based and a lot of dance music and stuff like that. But you'll hear some of that Carpenter sound in there for sure. Because like I said earlier, I've been ripping that poor guy off for years, but he's the best. I love him. I love him. There's nobody better. Nobody.
Forrest, we're gonna have to get together, in a couple of weeks, and we're gonna have to do another ranking list.
One day we got to do these like in person and just kind of do something like that. So it's not from screen to screen. It'd be more intimate, more closer. It'd be better.
Okay. We can, we'll sit down and we'll discuss it and
Yeah.
see what a good
Right.
time is.
Okay, man.
Okay. Talk to you later, and you guys know the thing: like, share, subscribe, whatever, yada yada yada. Talk to you later, and you all have a good night, son.
Good to see you, Sasha.
Good to see you too, Forrest.
Always, man.